somewhere? Because we're still looking.
He's going to keep looking. Look till the next major, I guess. And that's something that EG have to think about this game. Their catch is pretty limited. They don't get one of those big backline jumpers from mid. You're going to put the Underlord there. Sure, you get a great Ember matchup, but what does that mid game look like? Especially if the lanes don't go well. I'm worried for EG going into that, being able to deal with the map pressure just from a GPM standpoint. However, let's say they skew some of these matchups favorably, get that team fight online. I doubted the Whisper Centaur before.
Yeah.
That is an easy mistake to make because this hero looks very
Centaur,
simple.
But you shouldn't doubt Whisper, right? I feel that's the lesson we learned from that.
All right, that makes me feel better. You know?
Yeah.
Centaur's still trash, but Whisper, he's just
Whisper elevates every hero he's on. I mean, you want to talk a little bit more optimistic view for Evil Geniuses? Let's contrast also their run at TI versus this run at the Major. There at TI, when they were Thunder Awakened, went through an upper bracket. Evil Geniuses managed to beat them pretty easily, but then got thrashed by Team Secret and ended up going down and losing to Team Liquid. So they essentially lost to 2 Western European teams in a row. But here, Evil Geniuses have already taken down 1 Western European team and now look to take down another.
Western European team. I feel like Kitrak was on that squad. That's an NA org right there.
Yeah, that's also some heavy copium.
Yeah,
NA co-cast.
You know, okay, whatever. A little familiarity goes a long way. And maybe EG, the familiarity, will it prove to give them the victory this time? Early trade in the jungle for Insania. That's not where you want to be.
No, not at all. He's going to have to either TP to lane or take a long walkabout, or a delayed walk, as Matthew will give him the space to come back, it seems, for now. Our mid matchup is pretty interesting. We've seen this a couple times now. C-Smile going to be rocking the mid Underlord.
Yeah, this is a SA classic. They really like Underlord versus pretty much any melee mid. They're very confident that they're just going to win the lane through the CS war, come out with an advantage, and then it's just an aura buy for EG. I also feel like this team functions pretty damn well when C-Smile is their kind of utility player, because they have 2 carries. I mean, Whisper is a carry. This guy is one of the best tanker players in the world. It's coming out one of these days. So you have 2 really high damage core players on your side lanes. If C-Smile can just provide you some team fight, some bust for those 2 guys to go to work, I think it's a formula that can work very well for EG. But that's where that Centaur pick is like, it's a double-edged pick. You know? Is Centaur high enough damage for you to just play a utility mid and feel good going into those fights? That's where this pick is always very mixed for me when I see it coming out for EG. And a lot of it can be dependent on the laning phase. Another reason Insania not getting there level 1, I feel like the early waves, very important in Dota, but especially important for some of these heroes that you want to ramp the GPM straight out of the lane, like Alchemist. You give Alc 2 or 3 free waves, suddenly he has extra regen, and then he can just stay there forever. Especially in this Alchemist Centaur matchup, which is very dependent on the early trades and how fast you can get the Vanguard. Same for the Doom.
And an early mid-game self-stun there, but they do manage to get the range creep denied on the neutral. So really interesting. They pulled over to the hard camp, were trying to get all the last hits, but Insania, he snagged the smaller Hellbear. The bigger one, obviously still alive, and they got to deny the range creep. So not the best start for Evil Geniuses, despite that early move from Matthew.
No, but I think Whisper getting through these early waves without any harass going to him feels great, because this is a minus armor lane versus Centaur with only 1 ring. He's going to have a free Vanguard here. Like, there's no punish at this point in time. He's too big and has too much regen left. I think Matthew's going to be happy to leave Whisper alone at some point and look towards the mid gank. That's what EG want to set up. This Underlord Ember matchup, you can chunk him, you can get him low. He's going to have some water runes, but that gank is an option for EG. Something you can look for, maybe even early pit point. Something C-Smile will think about.
This is awkward. C-Smile doesn't actually have his bottle yet, so he'll have to very inefficiently just pick up the water rune and go from there. Meanwhile, Nisha got full HP, full mana, and still has 2 charges.
I mean, Nisha has been performing really well as we go deep in this tournament. He's finding his groove for sure. Something you always have to take into account. And Cap, what do you think about the old Foracle?
Ooh, I don't know about this one. I've seen it win enough that I probably should stop being a doubter at this point in time, but I guess it all depends on whether or not you have the heroes to be able to actually hunt down and tackle this Oracle. And I do feel like it could be hard for Evil Geniuses. I mean, the Centaur, obviously, being able to get a Blink Dagger, Stampede will be a huge boon in that regard. You just got to get on top of this hero, right?
The thing is, Boxy playing it. This is Insania Siggy.
It really is.
Yeah, this is his #1 played heroes we saw in the stat. I mean, to take it away from him, that's a bold move.
It is. Maybe
Disgruntle
Boxy just
the
didn't want to
captain.
play the silencer.
I feel like I've seen one 4-player make this Oracle work consistently, and that was Jerax back in the day.
This could be the combo right here. The toss back, the telekinesis into the kill. They do manage to get the stomp on the Alchemist as well. Whisper playing for the double here. And is he going to get that double edge? He's so close, but he can't quite close the gap there. Takes a couple of tower shots for his trouble, but still, what a good hit from Whisper, being able to do a good amount of damage to that Alchemist, and Mickey not feeling very brave and stepping up to the lane now.
I mean, Insania happy that they get the first blood plus the int there. And going down second, pretty damn valuable. Whisper still having a very good laning phase here on the Centaur. Now Matthew's going to refill mid and look for the bottle deny. It will get denied from Nisha here. Always very valuable when you have this favorable matchup versus Ember. You can get the level advantage, you can slow him down. Some of that momentum goes out the window. Of course,
you say the rotation should be coming out at some point in time, but that was after the Vanguard on Centaur, and he doesn't have it just yet, and as a result, takes a lot of damage being solo in lane.
He's 20 gold. I mean, cut him some break here.
Yeah, it's true, it's true. Just see whether or not Liquid can punish him on low health or not.
I'm just surprised how well Nisha's doing this one-on-one versus an Underlord that just destroys you in CS. I mean, he's just straight up winning it.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Seems like Nisha has found himself a bit of a groove, as the Atrophy Aura is supposed to be the big winner in this matchup, but just not doing good enough. How's that top lane going? We got a 24 CS Ursa, so behind all of the cores of the sided Team Liquid.
He's just getting harassed and denied on some of these waves. And, I mean, Zai even went for Brown Boots over the Vanguard just to create spacing on this lane. You still have the Blood Grenade left for Pakaz. They just haven't been able to get the aggression going. I mean, Pugna Ursa's not anything to write home about. That is a very awkward lane.
Nice little loop-de-loop there from Matthew.
Is this your time to try and punish the Alchemist right now? Vanguard completed for Whisper. I think you've got to force him off the lane here. Try and keep him to that level 4. He's maybe going to get it off the small camp, but you have Catapult Wave down here. You have the tankiest hero in Dota at this time. You got to use it for something. They're going to bring the Pugna. I like this move. You got to force the dive. Maybe just Glyph here. There it is. How much can you get out of this? Can you get the body blocks? Can you
body
get the
blocks? I was about to say, you're bringing in a hero that doesn't have a stun, but if he body blocks well enough, maybe. Matthew going to be targeted here. The telekinesis not going to come through. Turns around, phase bolt, but that's all he's got. But Mickey walked back into that one and ends up going down anyway. So, mission success for Evil Geniuses.
I feel like he was out.
Yeah, he was, 100%.
Man, what a team player, you know? Goes back in, helps get that +2 in for Insania.
What is going on here,
bro?
C-Smile, Nisha, C-Smile, very low, but the Fate Bolt comes through, that's enough! Oh, baited him out off of the support death. Zai and Pakaz battling it out here in this top lane at the same time.
Oh, Pakaz, you know he wants that kill.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful. With that 4 Oracle, you cannot underestimate the damage that Purifying Flames does. As
Also,
there you see it.
Can't underestimate Fury stacks. Zai had 8 on him. There's a lot of stacks for early in the lane. Yeah. We're out now and feel a little bit better about it, but that Vanguard does not do much versus the Bear here. EG striking back in his laning phase, starting to pick up some momentum, and finally getting that Ember punish. That was really important that Matthew gets that kill. That is what they were looking for with the early pit coming in. Just enough, it pays off. And man, Nisha is feeling the pain of the Abyssal Blade here.
Yeah, you maybe won the early part of the laning phase, but after a bit of a bait, first look, C-Smile feeling a lot better. He's going to walk back to base. Opts not for the early level of the teleporter here, but our Ursa is going to be left behind. Liquid returning the favor here. They're going to bring a tri-lane to the enemy safe lane and do just what EG did moments earlier.
Level advantage. Mid-game 6, you can leave him alone. Ursa still 5. That gate gang, just too damn easy. And again, you're not getting the kick out of this Alchemist bottom. That's the downside of the Centaur pick. You can sit here, you can get fat, but you cannot get fat at a faster rate than Alchemist. I assure you. It is not possible, especially with the camps he's getting. Golem's a very welcome sight.
Oh, not again.
It's coming.
We had that last time for mid-game. The constant Golem and Satyr span.
Now, this is just a must play. Like, you have to force him off these waves. Start making Mickey's life miserable and force Liquid to have to react to it. That's going to create a pressure point. You'll get some play action happening. Fighting for the rune, it'll go to Nisha. Nice little illusion.
Unfortunate for Evil Geniuses, who had Panda on the other side of things, trying to cover the deal, but C-Smile averages just 4,347 hero damage done by the 10-minute mark. 4th lowest. So just not able to put the damage in on Nisha the way he really wanted to, the way they picked for this matchup specifically.
Yeah, but where does that rank amongst Underlord damages, you know?
I have to assume Underlord usually does some pretty good damage, right?
It depends how many heroes run into his spells.
Big damage coming out onto the Centaur. Will it be enough? Certainly not. Stampede goes out and does allow Evil Geniuses to reset, but resetting isn't good enough, right, Avery? Like, the panel said it, you've been saying it, you gotta be able to actually beat these guys in lane and force them out. And it's just not quite yet happening.
Or at least be happy with Mikaz's rate of farm relative to the Doom and the Alk, and right now it's just not good enough. Like, you are not happy with this outcome if you're looking to this Ursa to be the big scaling damage into these beefy cores. And this is concerning, because where's your playmaker to try and disrupt this equilibrium? Liquid are just setting up a brick wall right now. They're like, come at us. We're happy to take those defensive fights. Steal some more int, play around our towers, play through the gates. They have very defensive supports. This is not a Liquid lineup where they're going to force a lot of aggressive moves. It's Oracle Silencer. Like, they're happy when you take the fight into them because they just get to react and bail out their cores and get those counter turns. The onus is on EG right here. In the next 5 to 10 minutes especially, to kick up the pace and set up the farm for Pakaz. I mean, he doesn't even have any ancient stacks waiting for him. He has one.
Boxy, that was a very bold move by him. Not sure if he expected Nisha to come back a little bit sooner or what, but C-Smile shrugs it off. We aren't going to see this Underlord really active until he completes his item. You see there in the bottom right, the Rod of Atos. That'll allow him to be able to get some chain stuns in.
Do they have the damage for the Atos though? That's a big question.
I think some of that's going to be pretty reliant on Panda being able to get the levels, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's a pretty high damage support anyway.
You need Life Drain, you need Rubik 6, start stealing some chains, throwing them back, something like this.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you just don't even use chains for a while here at Nisha. In fact, he hasn't even skilled it. I don't blame him. I feel like EG need that spell more than Liquid does.
Zai about to complete his Midas, so the economy game looking very good for Team Liquid. But Evil Geniuses, maybe they'll hit a timing here.
Is Liquid gonna smoke? This is not a smoke I expected from them. I actually think this is difficult to make work in some ways because your lineup is pretty defensive oriented. You're gonna be giving a fight to EG here.
Yeah, they are gonna be connecting on the two supports, but they've already gone on to Zai here. Go for that kill, get it nice and quick. And Zai does end up falling. Did he buy out his Midas? He did. He bought out his Midas before he died, so it delays the use of that a little bit, but ultimately he doesn't lose the net worth that he was holding on to.
Better than losing the Midas. I'd rather lose the hero.
True.
It's an expensive rotation. I guess less expensive with the gate. The question is Whisper just going to go second item Blink on Centaur along with the Underlord Atos? And is that the key to just start running the heroes on the map?
I have to assume so.
I mean,
I have to assume Rod of Atos plus Blink Dagger,
Yeah,
and you just slaughter Liquid as many times as possible.
And that's a big question of where is Boxy going to be. If Boxy's behind cores, you throw a single Fate's Edict out in this game, your damage goes out the window until Ursa's willing to join those fights. So you kind of have to dodge the Oracle too.
When it comes to these tier 1 towers being up, though, it is really easy to get behind these heroes, right? Between the portals and just the openness of some of this map. I think it would be harder if we were talking about tier 2 tower fights, but tier 1s, it might be hard for Boxy to get that correct position.
Yeah, maybe you can abuse the clunkiness from Liquid supports. These are not the best supports at running across the map or joining those fights if you're not setting them up yourself. Might just be able to catch them off guard with some of these moves. As Blink does indeed come out for Whisper pretty fast here. Time to get involved. Maybe try and find this Ember, who unfortunately for them has a shield rune.
Yeah, between Flame Guard and Shield Rune, I feel like that here is probably untouchable, but the Oracle not so much. Don't think they're going to be able to have the chain disable, but maybe they could still have the damage. We'll see.
He's
Off the
salving.
Fate's Edict stops a lot of the magic damage. Stampede goes out. Matthew trying to get away from the slight. Gets the distance. He's good for now. A stomp after the pit, so a relatch coming in. Panda going to show up. He's actually jumping past them, and into tier 1, you absolute madman. And he will pay the price for making that crazy move.
I mean, is that just yelling space for my Alchemist?
I guess
That
so.
is a crazy move to make there.
Nisha perhaps trying a little bit too hard to outplay Evil Geniuses, who simply didn't need the strategy, just brought the numbers.
That's a really good find for them. This Ember is getting shut down hard in this game. That said, looking at those other two cores, maybe he doesn't feel too bad. I mean, Mickey is almost level 11 with Radiance online, already just going to work on these camps. That's gonna be
Nisha
a
said
hard
in one of
catch.
his interviews he enjoys watching Mickey carry him when it happens. So.
Well, he's going to be watching him. That's for sure. Time to hop in the Alchemist backpack with the Keen.
That's true. Join that little guy.
This is a big window for EG. Really big. Especially with spell steal up on Matthew. Like, what can you get in this game as Rubik? Not the easiest spells. Maybe Acid Spray or Concoction are your best here in terms of the mid-game fighting.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a Chains to Steal from Ender. Oracle spells are really hit or miss. I mean, Silencer's globaling you. And Matthew, I feel like he's such a big playmaker for this team.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's why that bounty is first phase ban. Cannot give it to this man.
I mean, I remember, like, at TI, I wanted to be able to see Because and Whisper playing on the same team together, but then the bonus of being able to have Matthew there as well, easily, I think, the best support coming out of South America right now, and probably one of the best supports in the world.
Oh, the Roots steal?
He's going to go for it, but the Roots? No, he already had a Remnant underneath the tier 1, so there wasn't even a moment. He drops, grabs that Haste Rune, and gets out.
This man cannot be denied the runes. It is impossible.
He is a rune master, Nisha. That rune.
They really want it too.
Yeah. I mean, they want to be able to put pressure on these towers, but doing it into a power rune, any hero is going to be a little bit of a troubling affair.
It's just going to dissuade that aggression.
Yep, which just means that those side lanes get more time on the side of Liquid without any
look
punishment.
at the triangle right now.
Ooh.
This is what they're getting away with. It's criminal. Absolutely criminal right now.
Money, money, money.
This is first pick Alchemist.
Mickey is rolling in it. I mean, I don't think this is as high a net worth as he had last go around.
It's pretty damn high.
But it's pretty damn close for sure. Because actually TPing over, it was funny. He actually made a farm rotation from top to bottom, and he did it with the Wisdom Rune timing. So he goes over and farms these Ancients, but also makes sure to grab the Wisdom Rune. So a lot of resources going into this Ursa. Level 12, Battle Fury, and is going to be working towards a early BKB.
I mean, he's having a decent game, all things considered, especially with what happened on the lane, and they haven't had crazy amounts of Ancient stacks. He's going to get big here, almost as big as the Doom. That is definitely an accomplishment from EG.
And that is a really good hero to have against Alchemist in general, right?
Ursa's going to scale in this game. He is a problem hero for Liquid until we're talking about in the very late game when you have Ags, Doom, and if these supports get a bunch of utility, then they're just going to kite him out in the fight. That's a big question, too. How much farm do Liquid supports get? And that's maybe dependent on the moves Mickey makes. BKB up for Alk. Time to fight. The momentum
hit the stomp off of the pit latch. They're going to be able to get a second one, but the Oracle is a problem. Just sitting up in their high ground. Can't really keep that aggression going. And Team Liquid are the ones who bring more numbers than EG this time around. Now going to go for that mid tower with the Underlord gone.
All right, Mickey's had enough of killing golems. He wants something bigger. The Ogre.
See if he can get that last hit on the tower, too.
Stolen Acid Spray is pretty strong, but I don't think you can fight without your mid laner here.
Trying to go for the stomp, lands it. Again, even if they could chain disable him, it just doesn't matter when Boxy's sitting behind him.
These are the fights EG wish they could take right now. But if you cannot get on the Oracle, if you cannot deal with the global silence, I don't know how you're killing these frontline cores. Which means Liquid, they have the options right now in terms of what they choose to do. You can force objectives, you can go for a third or fourth item on Alk into Roche, take it away from the Ursa, then you're feeling really good about this game. Might just even be thinking about 25, 30-minute high ground here with the Alchemist if he really just has a free-for-all. At some point, it's going to be up to Pakaz to join these fights, and his impact absolutely pivotal for EG. If they lose that 1 or 2 fight where Ursa joins, this game is going to slip away very fast just based off the GPM.
Yeah.
One silver lining here is Nisha, I mean, he's still getting all the creep waves sucked away from him. So the Ember is going to be behind this game. Maybe something you can abuse in the fights because he is the one Liquid playmaker. That Atos window going to be larger than normally would.
For sure. Because a lot of pressure on his young shoulders. Especially since I feel like, as you were talking about, those few couple of fights are so important. And I think it's a lot easier for Mickey just to kind of show up as an Alchemist and be like, yeah, I've got Radiance and I'm really tanky, guys. Let's just take some objectives. They're probably not going to fight us.
The Roche is just so slow. That's the downside of this hero sometimes.
Yeah.
There's no way you want to go in Roche right now. It's way too clunky, and they're going to find a big core kill if they can get it.
Stomp for stomp. Side, though, is going to be detected by now. The Fate's Edict and even the potential of the False Promise. Insania taking a lot of damage from Matthew with some of those stolen spells. Going to go back around. False Promise finally put to use here as the Alchemist cuts in from the side. A rude entrance from Mickey that's going to be very effective at picking off the supports of Evil Geniuses.
See Smile, he's just gating the bottom. Completely out of there. That is not a fight EG want to take. Do force the Oracle out. If you can disengage and go back in, that's the type of fight you want. You just don't have the blink on Ursa yet. BKB will be finished here for Bakaz. Big Ursa timing.
Does he fight with this, though, or does he wait until third item, Blink Dagger?
I think you need the blink.
Yeah, I think you're losing a little bit too much ground, but at the same time, the effectiveness of those first couple of jumps are so dependent on Blink Dagger.
I mean, you have to find the supports here. And that's one of the things Faith Beyond talked about. The Alk just sits in front of you.
Yep.
If you go on Alk, well, Oracle and Silencer spells come out and you're not going to burst them. If you go on the supports, you kind of only have the two jumpers, in the Centaur and the Ursa with blinks. The damage follow-up is not going to be fast on support, so Bakaz has to output enough DPS where that support jump makes sense and it doesn't get saved in the meantime. Because these supports can also save each other potentially, which is another issue.
Yeah.
So vision, a very key factor for EG, which is where they wish they could just force the Roshan right now. Because that's one way to get easy vision and force Liquid into you instead of having to jump the other way around. Also dependent on the Ursa. I mean, this has to become the Bakaz show. There's no way around it. As you said, a lot of pressure for a young gentleman.
Yep, and he's been through the ringer before. I mean, we talked about how his matches with Thunder Awaken at this last TI were so crucial. He's been a rising star for a few years now. And it feels like he is still ascending, but this would certainly be the eclipse of all things. 6,000 net worth lead for Team Liquid, 6-6. And a bit of an omen for a Liquid team that does host Doom.
The doom of all. Extra GPM spells. Smoking to this Roche. I mean, Roche came down here instant in daytime. Bakaz was ready for it. This is pretty much as fast as you can do it. And Liquid are getting here in time, it looks like.
Yeah,
it's going to be really close.
They don't have all their heroes here.
No, they're
a little
bringing
dicey.
Matthew is not going to be at this fight.
They can finish it up in a second here. They see the Watchers going downside. The smoke's going to prop. Whisper starts going in. The Blink Dagger goes out first. Throws out the Doom immediately, but the Aegis is picked up already by the Ursa, who got off the Enrage too. Still, though, C-Smile's going to be in trouble. Probably dead here. Panda's going to try and heal him up where he can. TP home. Do they have a stop to this one? They do. Chains on through as he jumps to the Remnant. Two heroes picked off. Evil Geniuses feel like that's not the worst if that is all it is.
If that's all it is.
Slow down. Catching up to him here. And they already moved the Ursa into the mid lane, so it looks like Whisper, he's not going to receive any help. That'll be a third hero to die in that exchange. Now, definitely not worth it for EG.
And some extra int from this Centaur. They're running low on mana pool here. Might need to buy a couple null talismans. I mean, the good thing, if you go a couple mantles on Centaur, you can drop them at the end, so.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to go Lotus Sword, so, that'll help him out. But I guess you could do the mantle play.
You got to think about
Show
the
off your
long con,
Yeah, I mean, it's the first game at a best of 3. Why not taunt your opponent? Nice chains. Holding in the two supports once again, but C-Smile is here.
The
heals coming out. Panda giving up some of his own life to save Matthew if he can. Now the Ursa is here with that Aegis. Matthew huddled in a corner, hoping that nobody will find him, but Nisha will eventually burn him out, or at least the Radiance will, and Mickey is going to town. The claws are beginning to tear into him a little bit here, but there's the full squad still up and about, and Bakaz is having a hard time struggling. As he goes down the first time, the false promise is going to wear out eventually on Nikkei, but he'll have plenty heals after that. Because BKB TP out, but right in front of a Tormentor, and they almost died with the AoE damage on that Tormentor. Speaking of which, Liquid will take that away from Evil Geniuses. More and more they take.
That's Reign of Destiny too. So even more AoE heal going into this Liquid ball that you just can't kill anybody. And that was a really deep fight for Liquid behind a tier 2 into the pit, into the Pugna Ward, which stay up for that entire duration. Maybe if you're there at the start with everybody on EG side, you can get something going, but another problem is Khan's just getting overpowered, purged in some of these fights too. He's just sitting there slowly right-clicking with phase boots Ursa, one Fury swipe at a time. That is not going to do it.
That is a very good point, yeah.
This Oracle, it's going to cause you a lot of problems in this game. This Fate's Edict is not the same as the old one. The disarm, the magic resist, there's just no downside in these fights.
And I feel like there's a massive difference in how these fights are starting. Evil Geniuses are never able to get onto the back line of Liquid, and every fight for Liquid feels like they're starting off killing the two supports.
I mean, Bakaz gets one Fury hit off here, but he's going through Radiance Evasion and a bunch of nonsense. And if you're not killing Boxy, he just destroys you in these engagements. Absolutely destroys you.
And then if you get that false promise, I mean, sure, if you're laying into him the entire time, maybe it's fine. But if you're not, the false promise mixed with the natural regen of the Alchemist with Chemical Rage, plus the other heals you were talking about.
Yeah, he's got AC now as well. So the armor differential adding up. Acid Spray will be stolen again.
1 second faster than the fastest with this BKB on C Smile. But it might have need to be 5 minutes faster the way this game is going. 14,000 net worth lead now for Team Liquid. And they may have a Doom. They may have an Alchemist. They do have a bit of an artificial net worth boon. But it doesn't make that big of a difference. Not 15K worth.
I mean, it doesn't feel artificial when they're just throwing it on you. Does get the ult off. It's going to wear out a lot of this Doom timer. Maybe you can try and turn here.
Yeah, this is pretty decent if they could stop Zai, but now the rest of Team Liquid is here. Protecting the Ursa. That's priority number 1. Getting the punish. Number 2.
Found Zai on the back end.
Still. Telekinesis back in. Mickey, he's going to go for the kill. Not, he stomped, though. And they had a false promise Mickey. So that leaves the Doom open for the taking. Still, they're fighting under the Reign of Destiny. Boxy's going to be spotted. They go for the Oracle. False promise may have already been used, but that is still a prime target. Problem being, they can't actually stop this Alchemist from being able to blink away once the false promise is used.
That is something to think about in these fights. Another hoof stomp gonna land. You're gonna get a third here.
All right, a little bit of momentum now going for
yeah,
Evil
you gotta
display.
get as much off these little skirmishes as you can. Little mistake from Liquid. Just overextending a bit too far on that side lane where they can't get the numbers there, and then you have to use BKB early. That creates the opening where suddenly those big hoof stomps can land.
I feel like that was the first misstep against the Underlord, you know, where you think, okay, this hero's isolated, but you got to remember that Fiend's Gate can always transport not just the Underlord, but potentially the whole team onto that spot.
Straight through the portal. They're bringing the numbers instantly. But you have to get a lot off these little plays, right? You're still down 12K. This is all time Nisha's been catching up. And he's going to become an issue in the late game potentially too. The one thing I like about EG's lineup here, though, is they have a decent amount of sustain. Like between the Pugna, who already has a Bavis plus a Glimmer Cape, we saw Matthew with the mech earlier. They're building a lot of ore items between this squad. And if you just huddle up, I mean, Greaves just gets finished. You can sustain a lot of the damage, and then it's a question of, do Liquid have poke? Not really, right? You have Pugna heal, you have all the AoE auras here.
If the Ember was bigger, maybe we could say it's okay, but
I don't think EG are getting poked down. It's just what happens when that initial man-to-man fight happens.
Sure.
And usually that's where Ursa shines, assuming there's no Oracle. What helped him last fight is Boxy has to overextend to try and bail out his course. That's the type of engagement EG won, because then the Oracle's blinking into you. You don't have to find him. Right.
How do you foster those kind of overextensions? Do you just try and constantly be baiting out heroes, or what do you do?
You got to bait out the jump from Liquid, force some BKBs, create an opening that way. Then when you go in, the threat is real, and it's going to force Boxy to show. I mean, the other way is you just get a hell of a high ground ward and find the supports.
Sure.
But in theory, Liquid are never going to give you that opening. This team is damn good. They're going to play with their front line. They're going to play in proper formation.
Hey, you could see them. Alchemist leading the way, and then the 4 heroes all trailed behind him, but properly spread from each other, all ready to be able to save. And probably more importantly, the 2 supports in the middle, while you have on flanks on either side the Doom and the Ember.
Still impressed with what Bakaz has found in this game. Only 3-1. He is pretty damn farmed. Level 20, extra Fury Swipe damage with Basher completed and Titan Sliver. The damage is starting to get there. Like there's some glimmers of what this Ursa can do. Yeah, you're down some gold, but the gold doesn't matter if you find the right go. Especially if you just find a Liquid core out of position, fight can end that fast because they are very dependent on that formation being set up properly and Mickey tanking the brunt of it. He has AC, he has Abyssal. This is where your Alchemist is peaking right now. Like, this is when you want to force the engagements. That Roshan steal from earlier, also a really big deal to kill Liquid's momentum with the Alchemist timing. Because now you have to wait till the next one.
Yeah.
Gonna try and catch off the smoke. Do you have Doom?
Yeah,
you have
they
time
smoke into the Underlord. See Smile. Now, he doesn't have an easy way out of this one. Well, I spoke too soon. I was going to say can't TP out because of the Doom, but they do have the Stampede. Still going to chase after him, though. Nisha really committing. Can they get some help, though? The Pugna's already dead, so the healer is gone. A little bit more heal from Matthew, but it's not good enough. Nice steal, though, from Matthew, allowing him to get away, not being one more victim to Team Liquid's Rampage as they push through in this bottom lane.
Nisha's damage starting to scale pretty damn nice here. And that's -4 in for the record because you have that silencer shard. So it's going to start adding up a little faster from these strength heroes. You're already struggling with some mana pools.
Yeah, the active component of that shard, maybe not what you want on a support silencer, but certainly the more passive effect of the extra intelligence steal is nice.
All about the next Roshan here. You have to set it up for it. You have to make sure it's at the right place for the daytime, nighttime interval. Have to maybe hope it doesn't get stuck again, you know?
Yeah, true.
Help them out.
It is going to be in a minute 45. So Team Liquid, they're currently playing for the nighttime Roshan, but it is going to spawn on daytime with plenty of time to go till the next rotation. So,
and that's what the smoke is designed to do. Try and find the fight or the pickoff before then so you can get some map control, maybe just get that objective.
It does also mean that Team Liquid will have the advantage for that Roshan because of their outpost being on daytime.
That's a big deal. We have seen it be absolutely pivotal in these fights. Whisper will not find the jump. You get a stolen chains, that's level 4.
Oh, that is pretty strong. Mickey's going to jump in and go after that support. The man to hit the other one too with
stun.
The BKB. He used the Abyssal Blade onto the Pugnet to stop the Decrepify and kills them both. On the other side, they are trying to go on Insania, but the damage is so slow. The disarm comes out. Bakaz being controlled. That's most of their damage. In fact, Bakaz is going to die.
Turning.
He does manage to get Nisha first, but eventually falls. Still, though, C-Smile is beginning to go to work all by himself, all by his lonesome, all that bonus damage, but not a low enough hero to put it into. 2 for 5 exchange, a team wipe to the favor of Team Liquid.
And I think they're lucky to get Nisha there. I mean, that's just a crazy mana by Bakaz at the end, but that is all Liquid. That is all Mickey. You find both supports with a concoction up that hill.
Yep.
That's just team fight over right there. You need these supports alive for EG to give you the sustain, give you the kiting, wear out the BKBs here from Liquid's cores.
And it was also because they were on a Watcher. That was a Radiant taken Watcher that gave them the vision up high ground to be able to throw that concoction in the first place.
That's why you take your Watchers, kids. Never know when they'll pay off. Might just put you in a top 3 at a major. And then the rest is just cleanup, right?
Yeah.
I cannot believe how annoying Boxy has been for the Ursa in these fights. The disarms, the purges, the sustain on his own heroes that forces Bakaz to have to be the damage. That is a sight of frustration and like, come on, guys. I just need this Oracle gone. I can't hit people. But he's also the one that has to kill the Oracle. No easy answers here.
Gotta some way be able to draw the attention onto the Oracle and away from your supports. He's gonna go back to the Crimson Guard and then looking at a refresher, which may never see the light of day. The pace that this game is going, Team Liquid well set up to be able to play for the next Roshan. Again, it is going to be on that bottom right part of the map where the outpost for the Radiant side is. So Evil Geniuses, they want to be able to contest this. They need to be very well set up because they're likely going to have to fight into buybacks.
You have to get a good jump because you have Aeon Disc on Boxy now. You're not necessarily going to find this Oracle that easily. And you have Swift Blink Nullifier on Mickey, so this jump, you can't Pugna save him. You can't pop these auras to help your man.
They do have very good vision, though. Oh, they've got some good vision to work off of. And they found the silencer.
That's a good
great start already, but there's those buybacks. They have to worry about them. What a stun! Once again, Mickey comes in with a 2-man. Bounce back. They have the Doom onto the...
No
that Ursa. Bye-bye. Getting chopped up by Mickey. Meanwhile, Nisha is going to work once again, just trying to disrupt the backline, trying to stop this Pugna from having an effect. C-Smile, he'll be able to get out. Whisper maybe will do the same, but getting Roshan, certainly not the case for Evil Geniuses.
And he's just stampeding back to the base here. Didn't even have an opportunity to really use it in that fight. That fight's over the second Ursa gets doomed without getting BKB or ult off. There's no way you're taking that engagement. And still, it's another good angle. They find the support, but that's the problem. You have 2 supports who can bail out the jump, so finding one is not guaranteed to be good enough here. It's all about the follow-up as well, and I mean, if Mickey's going to stun 2 heroes with every concoction,
might as well call
you're
it
in
now.
trouble.
Man, Matthew had stolen the Doom, too. But obviously,
they even Lotus reflected the Doom and stole it. And
they could have had double Doom.
It doesn't seem to make a difference here.
No. Insania. Saying all that for a silencer. That is kind of what happened. Evil Geniuses, they had a little bit of vision to be able to play off of, found the silencer, but in the result of going in on that hero, ended up getting out of position. I feel like Matthew in particular.
AK's just gonna go butterfly here. This is the game ender, right? This is Alchemist fully 6-slotted without boots at 33 minutes here.
You want a game-ending rune to go with that? It's a double damage in the top part of the river.
Yeah, if you want it, it's yours. Ags on Nisha now, plus Cheese and Aegis. Zember's got 3 lives and a crap ton of remnants. Plus, you've always got that Time Warp Aura that Zai's giving the whole team here. A really nice aura for a lineup that just has a lot of low cooldown spells. They are happy to play those long engagements now.
Oh yeah, that is a cool idea. Shiva's goes out. Whisper is going to be spotted here. Hits him with a stomp. He's going to have to juke for quite some time in order to get his blink up. But unfortunately, he's going to be hit, found by Boxy with the Fortune's End. Trying to use that movement speed. He's still got Stampede, but he's going to be running through Nisha. That's unlikely to work. So he's just going to give up on it. Even the disarm by Boxy at the end, because why not, I guess?
It's free. No downside.
Yeah.
Invis Mickey looking mid. Got all the attack speed in the world.
Start laying into him with the nullifier, and the bash is going out. C-Smile has to use the Rod of Atos, trying to create some gap, but it's not going to happen. They'll slow down the silencer, and Mickey building up those stacks with the corrosive weaponry.
That's the other upside of attack speed builds on Alk right now. You just build up that minus status resistance very fast.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to run. That Abyssal is suddenly a much longer duration than you expected. Well, Pakaz, let's see how much damage you can do. Down 30k. Can you kill 5 heroes?
Gonna need some magic to happen for Evil Geniuses. Pakaz is gonna have to find pretty much the perfect opening.
Gonna have to find a 5-man black hole or something.
I mean, it seems to me they're giving up the second lane of barracks because he popped his smoke. They have a tier 2 bottom, so. Seems the call is to play for a later timing. Team fights seem too impossible for now. NKB is the item he's gonna try and build up. We'll see if Liquid gives him the space to farm it though.
They need to deal with the butterfly. They also need to wait out this Aegis. They're up for 2 minutes here, and you've got a Cheese waiting to come into that slot. You're just going down the last lane here if you're Liquid. There is no reason to wait in this game. You have everything you need to push the Alchemist high ground. He is unfightable right now. You're gonna need a Stolen Doom for sure. Do finish up AC on C-Smile. You're gonna counteract Mickey's here. Let's buff up some of your tankiness. Think they're gonna give Alchemist first pick next game?
I have to think that Alchemist and Doom are definitely... I mean, it feels like to me Evil Geniuses kind of gave them this and said, okay, you can be, play greedy with this. You can have these heroes that get this, big boost in gold. And we have an idea of how to play against it. Unfortunately, that somewhere along the road, that strategy lost its way. So maybe it's back to the drawing board for game 2 and a different idea for the draft. Likely either a Doom or an Alchemist ban. And
You're
with
going
the
to
way
give the
Mickey
team
is playing.
that I feel has been the hardest to catch on the map, the highest GPM heroes of the tournament, and not crush them on lanes. You better have a hell of a mid-game plan. That's all I'm saying.
That already seems like just a losing engagement right there. But maybe they thought they were going to be able to crush him in lanes. Didn't happen, and Evil Geniuses now backs against the wall with 1 lane of barracks remaining.
Whisper lucky to get out there. Aegis 30 seconds left. Arcane Rune on Nisha, as if he needed it. You're trying to wear out this timing right now.
Oh no, because he's been found here. Zai, he's just going to keep poking at him, trying to deny a TP back to base.
Oh, who's denying who? He gets bashed. Zai's dying right now.
Okay. Going for the kills because, but at the same time, they're going to be giving up Megas. He uses the Doom. That's going to stop a lot of the damage coming out from the Ursa. He's just kiting him around nonstop while Nisha and the rest of Liquid are demolishing buildings and getting kills inside the base. As it looks like Panda, he's going to pop eventually here. Last word. A little bit more damage. Okay, Nisha held in, rooted up. Now because is here to deliver the damage. Bash gets him. Okay, a trade-off of 1 for 1, but the damage, it's already done.
I mean, that last Rax just went out with a whimper. A poor Ursa whimper as there wasn't even a fight for it.
Nope. But Evil Geniuses, maybe the call is, guys, we've come back against Mega Creeps in a game 1 against Liquid before.
That is true.
We can do it again.
Second time's the charm.
I feel like it's maybe a little bit different circumstances this time around, but they have the MKB on Pekaz, and that was the item that they were really trying to play for.
I mean, what good is Greevil's Greed if you don't have any slots to put anything into anymore?
Yeah, that's true. Just push the game to 80 minutes, and what's he gonna do? Give everybody a Moon Shard and an Aghanim Scepter on his team?
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah. Well, there's tier 4 items to find for Evil Geniuses, so before they're pushed into their base by the incoming Mega Creeps, get as many of those tier 4s as you possibly can.
Many ancient stacks as you possibly can.
Yeah. Something small. Something to work with for EG.
Gotta remember, already played a series today. So who's wearing out who here?
That is a good point. You may have that momentum of being able to play. You're already warmed up and everything, but as the day goes long, we start heading into the night. EG stamina may just be a factor here, but it looks like this game 1 may not last for long. Evil Geniuses, big push coming in from Team Liquid now.
There's the jump.
He's gonna go for it, putting his damage to the test on Mickey with a false promise, immediately going out. And the damage will start being denied. They're gonna actually jump back in with that false promise, hit the stun, and he's just gone. Mickey healed up to full. No Ursa, no damage threat. Evil Geniuses have nothing to be able to stop Team Liquid, and they will take game 1 in this best of 3.
No answer for the Alchemist Cleavers here.